This is a PL-89 calendar for Friday, November 14th, 2025. And it is also Yom Shishi, 6th day of the week, the 23rd day of Cheshvan. And this is a lunar, the Parshas Chayesara. And what else? The Daf Yomi is 61 of Zvachim, Sheket Zvachim. We're right in the halfway point now of Zvachim. Halfway through the tractate. This is a Daf Yomi calendar, a solar calendar, a lunar calendar, a Julian calendar, and for a while I was including the Islamic calendar, but lately I haven't been including it, but I might bring it back in. So, the point of this calendar is to create ideas in Gematria through the time. Through time as a vessel and sort of an apparatus to shape, as it were, Gematriatic thought. That's why it's called the PL-89 Gematriatic Quantum Thought Calendar, or the PL-89 Quantum Gematriatic Thought Calendar. And the basic way it works is that there are two major numbers each day, one representing the solar calendar, which is the Gregorian calendar, which is November 14th today, and the other is a lunar calendar, which is the Hebrew calendar, on which today is 23rd day of Cheshvan. And on this calendar, on the 23rd day of Cheshvan, the box number will be 35, because you start the first day of every month here, whenever this calendar starts out. It's a 3-month calendar. You can see 80 days here, and there's another 10 days or 11 days. It's invisible. It's called the 10-day twilight period. That's your 3 months, and it's in use as 4 cycles of them each year. It's a quarter of a year, but it's a whole year if you think about the planet known as Mercury, because according to what is published about planet Mercury, it orbits the sun, meaning its year is 88 of our Earth days. That's just about 3 months. So this is a whole year in Mercury terms, or Kochav Chava in Hebrew. And there's 4 of those years that fit into our Earth year. And that's how it's seen. We'll go through 4 of these years every year. And depending on what the setting is, there's 3 settings known as dispensations. Depending on the setting will determine when you start from here. So if it's in setting 1, dispensation 1, then you start from months like September, December, March, and June. Those are known as the mutable months. In that case, you would start. The starting point would be here, and then it would go, let's just say, in dispensation 3, it would be March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. That's the first dispensation. And right now we're in the 3rd dispensation, which means it's almost done. Been working on this it's going on 14 years. The idea came to me in the summer of 2012, although the whole year of 2012 already was foreshadowing this thing coming about. But by the late summer of 2012, like Elul time, which is September time of 2012, is when this first got its form as we see it today. And in the springtime of 2026, it will be 14 years. And this program or this work, this meditation development will come to a completion of whatever that means. But the videos will stop, I mean, as far as I know. And whatever work this needed to do in the world, as it were, will be done. And I'm not saying that I won't use it. I'll probably use it, but it will have been completed. So I won't necessarily count the days as I have been all these years. I've been using this as a calendar. So let's just say today is Cheshvan 23, so I'll look at box 35. And then, 4 years ago I did the same thing, and 8 years ago I did the same thing, and 12 years ago I did the same thing. And 35, I'm sure it has to do with today, but that's what it is, 35. Now, November 14th is going to be 39. 39, I have something to say about that. 39, should I say that first? Yeah, I'll say that first. 39 is, in Hebrew, is echad, which means one. Ahava means love, but echad means one. And when you get to 39, I did mention briefly that this is a Julian calendar as well. And Julian calendar is 13, that number, 13 days. Ahava, days, or love, or 1 day, ahava, 13, it's 13 days. That means that, it's very interesting, it's almost like a pun, because we're on November 14th, but 14 minus 13 is 1. That means if you add that factor of ahava, which equals 13, and you add it to the 1 you get today. Or you can say it the other way. Today minus 13 is the 1. You get 1. Which means November 1st on the Julian calendar is today. So 14 really is 1. And that's the idea of this, because if you studied calendars a little bit, back in 1582, when Pope Gregory instituted the calendar that we have today, history lost 11 days. 11 days vanished from history because when they corrected it and implemented it, it was 11 days ahead. They just went straight to that date. And that was in October of 1582. So this calendar allows those 11 days to come back, and then some. It's actually 13 days, but it was 11 days then, but I think over the years it constantly loses a little more. Right now, as of now, it's 13 days behind, and it was 13 days behind, the Julian calendar was 13 days behind the Gregorian from 1905 up until, I think, the year 2099. So there's enough years for, I think, all of our lifetimes and what this will be useful for. But if we're all around then, for some miraculous reason, in 2099, then I'll adjust it to include 14 days behind. I think after 2099, it goes to 14, because it loses a few minutes each year. But anyway, 39 is very important, because 39 is the day that we actually get into November, because it's November 14th and it's November 1st, Julian and Gregorian to become one. Enough about that. So basically, this calendar, if you're looking at 80, because it's 8 times 10, 8 columns and 10 rows. So that is comprised of, you can't really see it so clearly, but it's comprised of 240s. You can see 240s with the colors. The light purple is, there's 10 of these here. So 10 times 4 is 40. And the dark purple is the same thing. So it's 40 and 40. Or you can see it like this. 40 and 40. And what is 40 and 40? And the thought came to me I had this for a long time. But this is the 40 in Hebrew gematria. And each letter has a numerical value. And and the letter mem equals 40. So what you're seeing here are two mems, mem and a mem. That's one way of looking at it. Now, what does that mean? There's two mems. Now, to my knowledge, there's only one place in the entire Hebrew Bible, the whole Tanakh, that has a final mem at the beginning of a word. You know Hebrew, the letters, there are 5 letters known as the Mansapach. It's Mem, Nun, Sadik, Pei, and Chav. Mansapach or Manatzpach. And that they look one way in the beginning or in the middle of a word, even the second to the last letter, they look the same way. But if they're the very last letter of the word, they look different. And you call it, let's say, a nun sofit, a final nun, or a mem sofit. So in the case of this word, and it's in Isaiah chapter 9, and it's in verse 6 in a Jewish Bible, and it's in verse 7 in a Christian Bible, because in the Tanakh, in the Christian Bible, there's some, what they do is, let's say if in the Psalms, if it says Lanatseach, Mizmor David, like a song for David, they'll not include that. They don't count that as a verse. They see that's just the title of it, and then verse 1 starts after that. So they're actually a verse behind, or a verse ahead, maybe. Let's say. If we're in verse 6, it puts them ahead because they count 1 as the next one. What they count 2 is we're really counting 1. No? They're counting 1, but we're counting 2. So how does that work here? Anyway, the point is that maybe it's with Psalms, but with when it comes to Isaiah, I know that this verse in the Christian Bible, a Christian like Old Testament, would say that 9:6 is for unto us a child has been born. That was familiar to me, but in the Jewish Bible, so it puts them 1 ahead, right? So they're 1 ahead. So right. So now in this verse, Isaiah 9:6, it talks about. I'll just say it's 9:5 in the Jewish Bible. For unto us a child has been born, a son has been given, and the authority is on his shoulder, and the wondrous advisor, mighty God, Yikra Shemo, Pel-Ya'etz El Gibor Av Yatzar Shalom, and his name will be called Wonderful Counselor, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Okay, that's Kiyeled Yod Ben Yitan Lanu Tiyel Misrach Shishmo Veikra Shemo Pel-Ya'etz El Gibor Shalom. Okay, that's 5 in the Jewish Bible, but 6 in the Jewish Bible is L'Marbe HaMisra U'L'Shalom En Ketz Al Kisei David Ve'Al Mamlachto Le'achin Ota U'L'Sa'ada B'Mishpat U'B'Tzedaka Me'ata Ve'Ad Olam Kinat Adonai Tzivaot Ta'aseh Zot. To him who increases the authority and for peace without end on David's throne and in his on his kingdom, to establish it and to support it with justice and with righteousness, from now into eternity. The zeal of the Lord of hosts shall accomplish this. Okay. So the first word in that verse of Isaiah 9:6 in the Jewish Bible, 9:7 in the Christian Bible, is the word L'Marbe. L'Marbe means to him who increases. L'Marbe. Now, to my knowledge, and I think this is accurate, that this is the only word in the entire Bible that has a mem sofit, like I was describing before, the final mem, in the beginning of the word. Why would it do that? Why? I don't know the reason. I think it's been explained before. I've heard it, but I don't remember. They put the final mem, L'Marbe, at the beginning. L'Marbe, the first mem is the final mem. And The last mem is also no. The first mem is a final mem. Yeah, why do they do that? They make it a final mem in the beginning. Why? I don't know why. But Limarbe HaMisra. So that mem, the fact that it could be a regular mem and it could be a final mem, is the source for these two mems here. These two 40-day periods, which mem is a numerical value of 40. Or you could say Limarbe Misra. Increases authority, Marbe Misra, two mems, but also for the fact that it's a final mem. So I think that's pretty much all for today. Oh yeah, and of course this is based on 40. This is totally 40 based on so many different levels, not just these things I just said, but it goes to 40. Okay, it's 8 times 5 twice, but there's also a rule of 40, which I'll explain every time, hopefully. And that's pretty much it for today.